What does that mean?
Right. Well, in the beginning, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, the first institution he established was the family. He said to Adam and Eve, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. And I believe as the family goes, so goes society. And what we're seeing is the problems in our society because of the demise of the family. For example, the divorce rate in 1950 was 1 out of 8 marriages. This past Saturday, we had a lot of weddings throughout America, but 55% of them will now end up in divorce. So we have a culture of divorce, and as a result of that, we have absenteeism in the homes by divorce or just being absent. The father is absolutely crucial in the family. That's why the Bible says that he's going to send the prophet Elijah before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And he's going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, hearts of the children to the fathers, as I strike the land with a curse. So either we could have revival beginning with the father turning his heart towards the children, and the children turn their hearts towards God the Father and their personal father, or this land will be cursed. And I feel, honestly, we've experienced curse in our society on every level. I believe all the LGBTQ issues that we have today is because of the demise of the family. And so we know that when there's a healthy family with a child being brought up with a mother and a father, most likely they're going to grow up emotionally stable, spiritually sound, and they will be trained to be a success in society. I feel that that's really the root issue to all the problems we have in society.
So let's dig into your 9 pillars that your campaign is kind of built.
Right.
It seems everything seems to affect family. So the first pillar is life.
Yes.
You say every child and every family can thrive. What does a pro-family, pro-life California look like to you?
Well, I believe that life begins at conception. And the Bible says it this way, life is in the blood. And so where there's conception, there's life, there's blood. And I feel that taking an innocent life is honestly based on Proverbs chapter 6:16 is an abomination to the Lord. It says there's 6 things the Lord hates, 7 which is abomination, 1 that sheds innocent blood. And so it begins with a baby. And I feel the ancient gods of Moloch demanded child sacrifice. And we see how that was an abomination to the people of Israel, and that anyone who would worship Moloch would be stoned. And so that's how severe idolatry was of pagan gods. But today we don't necessarily have these pagan gods, but it's really it's humanism. It's secular humanism, basically saying that it's really interesting. The woman says, it's my body. It begins with the body. And it's almost a counterfeit of when Jesus said, take this bread, this is my body, which is broken for you. So Jesus breaks his body to give, and yet we hold on to our bodies as if it's a right without, obviously every person has a human right, but when another life is involved, there should be the demonstration of deferring, unless it's a mother's health, to defer to that life. Children are a gift from God. And so we need to steward that beautiful gift that God has given to us.
And so, there's obviously some of the, I don't say arguments, but some of the people are saying, single moms, they don't have support and all that stuff. So that's obviously part of the decision making too.
Yes.
So how would your leadership support women, children, and families both before and
Well, that's a great question, because what I want to do is I want to have funds provided. Instead of having our tax dollars go into abortion, I like to have those tax dollars used for prenatal care. First of all, just communicating to the teenager, especially those who are poor in general, that we will cover the expense of prenatal care and delivery and postnatal care if you put up that child for adoption. I feel that if they know there's an option and there are funds there, that we will develop more of a culture of life. But unfortunately, a lot of people are ignorant and they just think there's a quick way out. I know it's an inconvenience to carry a baby full term, but I think there's just something, again, of a giving of oneself to another life that is just something that God values. And I'm hoping that we can have funds for even more crisis pregnancy centers to educate a person that there are options. One of the things is just affordability. It's just being able to survive and to thrive as a family, financially, economically. And we live in a state that we pay the highest taxes. With sales tax and state tax combined is the highest in the nation. We pay the highest gas prices, the highest electricity bill, and the highest median price for a home, and the lack of homes. And so it's just really hard for the nuclear family to thrive in that kind of environment. So I feel as a good government would be to lower the taxes, to lower the gas prices, because we import 60% when we have all the crude oil, natural gas here in our state. We just have to be more balanced on our environmental laws. And I'm all for creation care. I feel that we're to steward this planet, but not at the expense of hurting people. And so there has to be a balance, and I have to weigh everything, what's best for we the people, because when you govern, the priority is people. It's not the environment. And so that's secondary. It's important, but it's secondary. So what I want is a win-win situation where we do have clean air, clean water, but the people can afford to live in this state.
So you mentioned, I've heard you say this a couple of times, creation care, and I've never heard that